You're in a conversation and someone asks a question you don't have an answer for. The silence that follows feels like pressure building in your chest. You feel the urge, almost a compulsion, to fill that void with words. Any words, even if they're wrong, uncertain, or meaningless, because the alternative, just sitting in that silence, feels unbearable. And here's what happens. You speak. You fill the space. You say something you don't mean, make a commitment you don't want, or agree to something you'll regret later. Not because you wanted to, but because the silence felt like failure. And here's what should awaken you. This isn't just social discomfort. This is a fundamental inability to exist in emptiness. And that inability is destroying your power. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, spent their lives studying silence not as absence of sound, but as presence of self. What they discovered changes everything. Your need to fill silence reveals your need to fill the void within you. And that need is why you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly reacting instead of responding. You're afraid of silence because silence exposes what you're avoiding. The internal noise you've been drowning out with external noise. The questions you've been avoiding by staying busy. The truth you've been hiding behind constant speech. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why mastering silence isn't about being quiet. It's about reclaiming the psychological space where your actual power lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." What did he mean? As Emperor of Rome, he witnessed people filling every moment with noise, activity, opinion, anything to avoid being alone with their own minds. They feared silence because silence meant confronting the quality of their inner world. And most people's inner world was chaos. Today, this fear has industrialized itself. You can't be silent for 30 seconds without reaching for your phone. You can't drive without a podcast. You can't eat without entertainment. You can't exist without input. The average person now consumes information equivalent to 174 newspapers daily. Not because they want knowledge, because they can't tolerate silence. Watch what happens when you're forced into silence. Waiting room, empty elevator, alone in your car. The discomfort rises immediately. Your mind races. Your phone becomes a lifeline. The silence feels threatening. But here's what's actually happening. Silence isn't the problem. The problem is what silence reveals. Without external noise to distract you, you're forced to confront the internal noise you've been avoiding. The anxiety you've been drowning with podcasts. The decisions you've been postponing with busyness. The truth you've been hiding behind constant speech. Have you felt this? That panic when you're alone with your thoughts? That compulsion to immediately fill any silence? This is a first mechanism, but it goes deeper. Your need to fill silence reveals your fear of emptiness. Most people can't sit in silence for 5 minutes. Not because they're social, but because they've never developed internal substance. Seneca observed, "Everywhere means nowhere." When a person spends all his time in foreign travel, he ends by having many acquaintances but no friends. In his time, he watched people constantly moving, traveling, socializing, anything to avoid being alone. The constant motion wasn't engagement with life. It was escape from self. But today, we perfected this escape. You don't even need to physically move. You can scroll infinitely, consume endlessly, distract perpetually. The external noise is so constant. You've forgotten what internal silence sounds like. Think about your last hour alone. Did you sit in silence? Or did you immediately reach for input? Phone, TV, music, podcast? Most people can't tolerate 60 seconds of pure silence without experiencing anxiety. That's not extroversion. That's psychological dependency. Here's what Seneca understood that most people miss. Your need to fill every moment with external input reveals an empty internal world. If you were full of thought, purpose, reflection, Silence would be rich, but you're empty, and emptiness is terrifying, so you fill it with anything. Have you felt this? That panic of having nothing to do, nothing to consume? This is why you're exhausted, because you're constantly running from yourself, and the only place you can run is into more noise. Constant noise destroys your ability to respond consciously. There's a reason you say things you don't mean. It's because you've never practiced a pause between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." In concentration camps, he witnessed humans reduced to stimulus-response machines. No pause, no choice, pure reaction. But some people maintained the pause. They found space between what happened to them and how they responded. That space was their freedom. Today, you voluntarily surrender that space. Someone texts, you respond immediately. Someone speaks, you interrupt. Someone challenges you, you react. There's no pause, no consideration, no conscious choice, just automatic reaction. Watch what happens in your next conversation. Someone says something you disagree with. Notice the urge to immediately respond, to interrupt, to correct. That urge is fear. Fear that silence means agreement. Fear that pause means weakness. So you react. Here's what Frankl understood. That pause, that moment of silence before you speak, is where consciousness lives. Without it, you're not choosing your responses. You're reacting automatically. You're a stimulus response machine pretending to be human. This is why you regret what you say, why you make commitments you don't want, why you say yes when you mean no, because you're reacting, not responding. And reaction requires no consciousness. Every unnecessary word diminishes your authority. You've noticed people who command respect speak less, not because they're withholding, but because they've learned that silence contains more power than speech. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In his school, he watched students desperate to prove their intelligence through constant talking. The more they spoke, the less powerful they became. True understanding doesn't need constant demonstration. But modern culture inverts this completely. You're taught to share your truth, to speak up, to make your voice heard. As if more volume equals more validity. As if constant speech proves intelligence. So you over-explain. When someone questions you, you defend with paragraphs. When someone challenges you, you justify with essays. You fill silence with explanation because silence feels like admission of weakness. Watch someone truly powerful handle a question they don't want to answer. They don't over-explain. They don't justify. They pause. They consider. Sometimes they simply don't respond. And their silence communicates more power than any explanation could. Here's what Epictetus knew. Every unnecessary word is a power leak. Every explanation you don't owe is sovereignty surrendered. Every silence you fill is authority diminished. This is why people don't respect you. Not because you don't speak enough, because you speak too much. But here's where Stoic wisdom becomes truly powerful, where understanding transforms into strategic operation. Everything I described is operating unconsciously in people who can't tolerate silence. They're filling voids they don't understand, reacting without consciousness, leaking power through unnecessary speech. You now see the mechanisms, and conscious awareness changes everything. While others panic in silence, you'll use it strategically. While they fill every pause with nervous speech, you'll let silence do the work. While they over-explain and diminish themselves, you'll respond with precision or not at all. Marcus Aurelius mastered this as emperor. He didn't need to fill council meetings with speech. His silence commanded attention. His pauses carried weight. When he did speak, people listened, not because of volume, but because of scarcity. Here's your strategic advantage. Silence is the most powerful communication tool you possess. It creates space for others to reveal themselves. It prevents you from committing to things you don't want. It allows you to respond consciously instead of reacting automatically. While they're exhausting themselves with constant noise, you will restore yourself with strategic silence. While they're revealing everything, you'll reveal selectively. While they're chasing respect through speech, you'll command it through restraint. This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about reclaiming the power you've been giving away through compulsive speech. Remember that conversation from the beginning? The one where someone asked a question and silence felt unbearable? Here's what you see now. That urge to fill the silence wasn't social grace. It was fear. Fear of what the silence might reveal about you. Fear that pause means you don't know. Fear that silence means weakness. Marcus Aurelius' final wisdom. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. He understood that people who need constant external noise lack internal substance. That psychological sovereignty means being comfortable in emptiness. That true power lives in restraint. Here's the truth that brings peace. Silence will always make uncomfortable people uncomfortable. They will interpret your pause as judgment, your restraint as coldness, your selective speech as arrogance. You can only accept it. And in that acceptance, you find freedom. Freedom from compulsive speech. Freedom from reactive behavior. Freedom from exhausting yourself trying to fill every void. This week, practice the pause. When someone asks a question, wait 3 seconds before responding. When someone challenges you, breathe before speaking. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, notice it, then choose silence. Write in the comments, I'm choosing consciousness over reaction. The Stoics spent their lives showing that mastery of speech begins with mastery of silence. Your power isn't in filling every void. It's in being comfortable in emptiness. Stop speaking to prove you exist. Start existing in silence.